Welcome to Creating Clear and Concise Presentations by Jennifer Span. This presentation is designed to help you to create clear and concise presentations that will allow you to make your point while the audience keeps their attention on you and not your presentation. In your assignment on the Google Classrooms, you have the handout that we are using in class that explains to you all the different tips to making sure that your presentation is very clear and concise. And we're going to go over these points today. You also have a bad presentation that I want to ask you to go through and find the different issues in each slide in that 7 slide presentation has a problem, has at least 2 or more problems on it. I'm going to ask that you find as many as possible, and then you're going to put them in this Brad presentation errors document right here and turn it in. So let's go ahead and get started. The standard today is to identify the elements of a clear and concise presentation, and by the end of the period you should be able to identify errors in a presentation. Overall, these are the overall things that you need to look at when you're looking at a presentation. First of all, you really need to know your audience. If you're presenting to teachers, your PowerPoint presentation or your presentation is going to look different than if you are presenting to parents or presenting to students. If you're presenting to a group of people that like tomatoes, you're going to present a different kind of presentation to somebody who likes, say, pickles, that kind of thing. That was a really silly example. Each slide should convey only one main idea. For instance, this slide talks about the overall appearance of your presentation, whereas later slides in the same presentation will focus on specific things like text and theme and that kind of thing. You want to make sure that you tailor your presentation to meet the needs of your audience. So again, if you're presenting like the Chromebook idea, when we were talking to you about presenting you with Chromebooks, we presented one set of information that was specific to you that you needed to know. But when we talked to your parents, the presentation that we prepared for them was different because your parents need to know different things than you need to know about the Chromebooks. Overall theme. Your theme should be the same on every slide. You should not use a different theme, color combination, whatever, on each different slide. It's very distracting for your audience. You need to make sure they're all the same so that once the audience has seen your theme and oohed and awed over your theme and you move on, they're not distracted by a new theme. Your title should relate to the theme. The title of your presentation should make sense to what you're talking about. If you are talking to your audience about how to make the perfect hamburger, for instance, you're not going to have a hot dog on your title slide, and you shouldn't say the wonders of eating a hot dog. It should be about making a hamburger. Your You should also maintain a consistent color scheme. So as you work through your PowerPoint, your presentation, whatever product you choose to use to make your presentation, your color should stay the same. If it is a particularly long presentation, it is perfectly okay to change the color scheme of your theme when you change your overall topic for that presentation. But otherwise, if it's short, then it needs to be all the same color. Text and wording. Avoid using small text. For instance, there's small text on this particular presentation, but since I am putting it on the screen in front of you, or you're looking at your screen at home, it's fine. But if you were in a room full of people, the small text on this particular presentation would not do because it would be too small to be seen at the back of the room. So you need to make sure that it is no smaller than 24 points. By the way, that is on your little paper. Make sure you follow the 6x6 rule. There should be 6 main ideas bulleted and no more than 6 words per bullet. So for here, where I have 5 main points that I'm going to, the minor points for the main points, in my opinion, don't matter. So for here it says avoid using small text, and then I was giving you just a basic thought off of that 6x6 rule. 6 bullets, 6 words. Use partial sentences. In this case, it's okay not to use complete sentences. If you use a complete sentence, you're going to end up using more than 6 words. So you should use use partial sentences, but make sure those partial sentences count. Use consistent punctuation and capitalization. Either you're going to capitalize all the way through the presentation or you're not. It's more professional to capitalize your non-sentences, by the way. And then use consistent wording all the way through. Images and graphs. Your images should relate to what you're talking about. Again, back to that, how to make the perfect hamburger. Wouldn't have a hot dog. Your images should have something to do with what you're talking about. Make sure that your images match. Your graphs should be simple. You shouldn't have anything other than, generally the most effective graphs are pie charts and column charts, and try not to have try not to be comparing more than three or four pieces of information. When you end your presentation, you ought to provide some sort of handout. When we do our presentations in class, you will not be doing handouts because that's a lot of handouts for the class. But usually you would provide some form of a handout. And for me, you're going to show me a handout, but I'm not going to print it up for you. So you need to provide some sort of a handout. Your final slide should include a recommendation, a conclusion, or a summary. Some can actually do a mixture of them. Also, on your final slides, you can include things like contact information if you are trying to present something where your audience may want to contact you for more information. That information also really ought to go on your handout. Now, now that we've gone through all of that, make sure you read over the paper in case I missed something or you want to just refresh yourself on it. And then go ahead and open up this bad presentation PowerPoint and this bad presentation errors. And on each slide, find at the very least 2 errors. Try to find as many as you possibly can on each slide because some of them have a lot. So